Hey everyone, it's Michelle with Sweet Pea Farm, and I'm in the barn today, so obviously Larry's gonna have his 2 cents to put in about everything. Larry is our turkey, and it is nasty out today, so everybody's inside. Today I'm gonna talk to you guys about treating pigs for parasites, but before I get into that, make sure if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and click on the bell so that when we do put out content, you'll get a notification from YouTube. And if you like this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up. First and foremost, I just want to say I am not a veterinarian, and my first advice for treating parasites with pigs is to consult your vet. Now, I understand that a lot of people are not fortunate to have a vet nearby or have a great working relationship with their vet like I do, but if you can have a vet help you get a deworming plan together for your pigs, that's definitely the best way to go because every area is different. So I'm in upstate New York. We have very cold winters, which means we have animals inside during the winter. We've got lots of different scenarios than a lot of places. So your vet will know what happens and what's more prevalent in your area and what dewormers work best for hogs in your area. So for my pigs, when I am treating adults, I generally do ivermectin, which is you can get at Tractor Supply in my area at least. And this is just the generic kind. I keep a clean needle in the bottle so that I don't ever use a dirty needle, and I have one in there ready to go. And that just stays in there so I know that needle is clean, and that's what I use to draw out. And you can give ivermectin either orally or injectably. Now, if you want to inject the ivermectin because you want to treat things like lice or mites, the directions right on the bottle. For swine, it says 1 milliliter per 75 pounds of body weight. So you just would draw that up using the clean needle that's in there, and then you would, using your syringe, draw it up, and then you'd put a clean needle on for the injection. Now for the pigs, I use smaller needles than the sheep because there's a lot of nerve endings and you don't want to hit those. So I use these 20 gauge 3/4 inch needles for both piglets and adults, and they seem to work fine. Now, if you're going to give the Ivamec internally, like orally, the dose is 0.2 cc's per 10 pounds. So that is something that you would draw up in the syringe, and then instead of putting the needle on, you leave the syringe plain without the needle on the end of it. So just leave it like that, and then sneak it into their mouth and plunge it in. Larry's got so much to say, I'm so sorry. So a lot of people use the Ivamec orally as well as injectably. It just depends on what you're treating. The Ivamec does not treat tapeworms, so that's something that you want to consider. But we use straw for bedding in our barn, so we do have a lot of issues with mites, especially towards springtime when things are kind of starting to warm up. So I do an injection of the Ivamec, which I was super scared to do the first time, but it turned out being so much easier than I expected. Now, another dewormer that we use is Safeguard, the 10% for goats, which is this bottle right here. We always have this on hand because we use it with the goats and the pigs. And this is just fenbendazole, 10% suspension. And the dose for the goats is right on the bottle. But for pigs, we dose the Safeguard at 0.1 cc for 10 pounds. So if you had a 100-pound pig, you'd give it 1 cc or 1 milliliter, either way. And you do that for 3 days in a row. A lot of times, if I'm treating an adult pig, like if it's springtime or they just farrowed, I will treat with both an injection of the Ivamec and then the 3 days of the oral Safeguard just to cover them. Because the adult swine, we really just treat once a year with the dewormer. And then they seem to be pretty good. The piglets, however, you kind of have to treat every 3 to 4 months, keep on track with them to make sure that they're not getting problems, because some things that the Ivamec treats, the Safeguard does not, and vice versa. So I like using both of those. And they also recommend that you repeat the Ivamec treatment 10 to 14 days later. So if you're doing the Ivamec, you want to treat them and then 10 to 14 days later, treat them again with the Ivamec, just to make sure that you've got that full cycle of worms cleaned up. My first recommendation, if you're going to be doing Ivamec injections, now I've just given them some treats over there to keep them happy, so they're all trying to find the pieces of apple. But my first recommendation would be to do the injections while they're eating their breakfast or dinner. So my pigs each have a bowl that they eat from. They all go to the same bowl. And then you simply take your syringe and you come back and do the injection really quick. There's no needle on there, but if there were, they wouldn't even notice it. So you want to do the injections right in the fat muscle part behind their ears, which is where we often give them scratches. This is Maple. And oftentimes I'll scratch, do the shot, and then scratch again, and they never know it happened. Now, I was very nervous my first time, and I had marshmallows and other people on hand, and now it's gotten much easier. If you're going to be doing an oral dose of medication, some people suggest using bread. So if you're doing the Safeguard or the Ivomec orally, a lot of people will draw up the amount they need and then put that amount into a piece of bread and feed the pigs bread. Now, that works for everyone on my farm, except for Ivy, who is the house piglet, and she's a little spoiled and does not want to eat bread. So she actually comes up and will take it right out of the syringe. I'll put this up by her mouth and she'll bite onto it, and I just plunge it in and she takes the dewormer or whatever. So that works just fine. But if you're doing a normal pig, it's not Ivy, and you need to give them some oral medication, a lot of times people recommend putting it in some bread. The bread will soak up the liquid, and then you feed it to the pig, and then you know that they've gotten it and not spit it out or anything. Some signs that you want to watch for in a need to deworm, hi Maple, you're so cute, are if you see skin issues, if there's hair loss or redness on the underbelly, that could mean that there's mites or lice on the pigs. Like I said, we've had that happen a lot in the spring with our straw. The mites will be harbored in the straw and then get on the pigs when they're bedding in it. Another thing to watch for is just body condition. If the pigs seem to be eating well, but they're not really gaining weight well, that's another problem that you want to watch for. And then obviously stool. If they're having loose stool, that's something to be concerned with. And sometimes we use Scour Guard, which I'll show you in a second, but you definitely should consider taking a stool sample to your vet to have it analyzed if you can't do that yourself, just to make sure that your pigs are getting treated correctly for the problem they're having. So this is the Scour Guard I was talking about. Definitely something you want to have on hand when you're having young pigs at your house or your farm. It's an oral solution, and this isn't necessarily a dewormer. It's an anti-infective, and it's definitely covers scours that are caused by E. coli. The pigs are out, our pigs are pastured pigs, so they're out, they're in dirt, they're in mud. They're likely to pick up something, especially when they're young. And if they're... That was ice falling on the burner. Temple's gonna save us from it. If they're young pigs, and they pick something up and their immune system isn't quite strong enough to fight it off, sometimes a little bit of this goes a long way. Not a dewormer, and definitely not a permanent solution. If this doesn't clear up the scours, then you definitely need the vet to come in and help you out with whatever's going on. But that is definitely something. I keep this on hand for lambs and pigs now, because it's just such a lifesaver if you have a scouring baby. E. coli can kill baby animals really quickly. So I hope this video has helped you guys feel a little bit more calm about treating your pigs for parasites. It's something we all have to deal with any farm animals, especially the small sheep, goats, pigs. They all need to be handled, have their parasites taken care of and managed so that they can be healthy and happy. It's not a great thing to deal with. It's not fun. I know a lot of people like to keep things very natural, but at least on our farm, we definitely need to use some medications to maintain herd health when it comes to parasites, especially for the animals we keep year after year for breeding. So we do treat our mature ewes and our mature sows and Wilbur, our boar, those animals that are going to be staying here. We want to make sure they're parasite free so that they're in their best condition. So it may not be the best solution for your farm, but it's just some helpful hints and some calming of your nerves, because I know when I first had to give Hermione and Willow injections of Ivomec, I was so nervous. So it's not that bad. Make sure you've got some really yummy food in front of them so they're happy. Give them some good neck scratches right behind the ear, and then that quick injection, and it's all done before you know it. So don't stress about it. Just get it done. If you need help, call a friend, call a mentor, call your vet. Get it done the first time, and then you'll know it's not that bad. So I hope you guys enjoy your New Year's celebrations. Enjoy 2021. There's a lot of fun things happening on the farm. We are days away from the beginning of lambing and kidding to start. So make sure you ring the bell on the subscription so that you can see all the babies being born. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a happy new year.